do normally during insect lectures, because insects are not, although they are very beautiful creation here on the planet, but we tend to ignore them in spite of the fact that they do a lot of help to us, and they are quite around us everywhere, even in this room. Okay, so can we have a bit of small exercise? Can we list insects found in your house? Okay, I want answer from you. You are a student, I'm a teacher, so it's not that I'm just a scientist. Okay, so tell me first name. Cockroach. Very good. So, how many of you have seen 3 types of cockroaches? Only 2 types. Anyway, so we have at least 3. Again, it depends. Okay. So yeah, other than cockroach, spiders are not insects. Okay, housefly. Correct. Have you seen different species in housefly? Not flies, I mean not housefly. Yeah, fruit fly. Correct. Drosophila you get, but in housefly variety also you get at least 2 or 3 species. Okay. Then what next? Mosquitoes. Correct. So number of mosquitoes vary where you reside and depends on your windows, depends on monsoon. If you are near forest, if you are near mangroves, you will definitely get more species. So at least 3 of notorious mosquito species we are aware of. Have you seen mosquito-like insect sitting near the tube light? Looks like mosquito but doesn't bite. A little bit greenish. Okay. Sitting posture is different. Okay, so it's actually a niche. Okay. So mosquito. Okay. What else? Sorry. Dragonfly in your house? I'm talking of Mumbai apartment. Beetles, correct. But that only in the monsoon season, not every time. Can you do you remember how many you have seen? Don't tell the scientific name, I'm not aware of. Okay. Yeah. Sir is saying Dekun, that is a bed bug. I hope anyone is, everyone is aware of how dangerous they are. Okay. So we have bed bugs, that's a parasite. In beetles also you get 2-3 species. If you are, in our, stored grain pest. How many of you are from biology? Non-biology, I mean. Non-biology. All are biologists? Okay, only one. Okay, rest of you are biology, studying biology in all are undergraduates. Anyone from junior college? No? Okay. Okay, so beetles you have seen bed bug. Anyone is having lice in your head? You have to sit separately. If you have bed bug, sit separately. Okay. What else? Are we missing on anything? Yes, Rupa? Ants. Very good. So have you observed any 2, 3, 4 types of ants in your house? Very good. Then what else? Termites. Correct. We call it as white ant. Actually, it's a misnomer. White ant. Looks like ant, but it's a notorious pest. Yeah, you're saying nothing? Honeybee, I heard somewhere. Correct. You get honeybee at your house? Sometimes. You get bees ideally on the light in the night time. And if there is a beehive around you, they are bound to come to your window. Then, you get a wasp sometimes. That too, sometimes water wasp. Sometimes you get a wasp making nest in that breathing blood. They block the hole. Okay, that's not a wasp actually. It's different. It's kind of a bee. Okay. So, are we missing on anything? Sorry. Wow, very good. Have you seen bagworms? There's a small worm-like creature with a bag on its back. Caseworm, actually, we call it, which crawls near your wash basin or your toilet. Okay, and उसके adults भी दिखते हैं बाद में, the small ones. Okay, I think I'll stop. A lot of exercise, and in your Mumbai house, we have listed not less than 25-30 species. So you can imagine how many species will be there in your Have you visited biodiversity park in your campus? Well done. Earlier there used to be quite active biodiversity park in that corner, and I remember documenting something like 50, 60 species of butterflies. I'm talking of 2004 or 5. Okay. So basically the topic for the day is I'm talking on insect plant interaction. Okay. Now since you are a biology student, I will not go in very detail of this, just a quick go through. Okay. Interaction is like what we are doing right now. After a while, it will be just action because I'll be talking, you will be sleeping surely. Okay. Just now we had an exercise, that is the interaction. I gave you a stimulus to which you responded. Okay. So there's a partner which takes part in, I mean, there are two partners who take part. One gives stimulus, other response. Okay. And you may get different types of reactions. Okay. Which the result might be neutral, it might be positive, it might be negative. Okay. But these kind of interactions can be physical, sound, chemical, or visual. Okay. I think you are studying these things in your syllabus somewhere, animal interactions. So we'll not go in detail of this. So these are just the types of interaction you have studied, and same type of interaction you see between insects and plants. Okay. So again, a kind of interaction we are doing. What is mutualism? Okay, I want to answer from here. I know you are hungry and I should not ask question, but mutualism is something like both the partners are benefited. Correct? Then what is predation? Everyone knows, so I will not go in detail. What is mimicry? Mimicking other species of the, it may be intraspecific or interspecific. Correct? Then commensalism क्या है? Not from here. Sorry? Not example. I want. What is benefited, what is not affected? One is not harmed or not benefited. So that is shark and remora. And parasitism everyone knows. Okay. You may get few more categories like amensalism, something like that. Okay. Again, it depends. Again, it is us that we. It's okay. Okay. Again, we decide how do we define the interaction. Okay. So these kind of interactions you are going to see even in insect plant world. Okay. Now, I hope all of you know that insects do not have very high vision. High vision as resolution is very less. Okay, they have compound light as you see here. Okay, like I see now, madam, in pink attire, but insects cannot see that. They will just see a pink outline, blurry outline. Itna dur to dikhega nahi anyway. But if they go, something like 3 feet, 4 feet, they cannot see the outline of the object because they don't have very sharp vision like we have. Okay. This is the ommatidia. So this is how actually insect vision is. For us, the flower will look like this. For insect, it will be like this. Maybe more blur than this. Okay. So what happens is we humans rely between 700 mm to around 400 mm. That is our visible spectrum. But insect spectrum is 650 to 300. Okay. And insects do see flower like this, almost like this. It is the same flower, how it looks in visible light, and almost similar how it looks in, how do the insects visualize it. Okay. Now, insects do not have very, as I told you, very high resolution image. So each eye is called as ommatidia, and it is made up of, something like people are counted in dragonflies. I think one single eye had something like 10-12,000 small eyes. Okay, but if you compare that with your megapixel in your camera, it is different because their retinal resolution is very less. Okay, and apparently they don't rely too much on vision, which is not required for them. Okay. This is really wonderful because you see insect, you have seen first line, fly or bee, but they don't eat anywhere. Just like bat. Anyway, so this is how insect vision is. What is compensated by is the smell. Okay. Now insects do not have nose. Okay. So their smelling power is only by the antenna. Okay. Now this is the cross section of antenna which you will see, of course, on internet, and which is very sensitive. This is a male moth which I clicked somewhere long ago in Goa, and this is called the bushy antenna. And scientists have compared, calculated, documented that this male moth. What do the insects smell, by the way? Sorry. See, when you keep any food in unattended or girawa kana, yuka kana, immediately within few minutes you will get fly around it. Okay. Within few more minutes you will get ants around it. Okay. Now definitely fly is not going to sit on the window and look inside the khana kab ho jayega na. Okay. You have seen Drosophila. You keep banana peel and immediately they are around. Okay. So they have very keen sense of smell, and this male has, I told you, bushy antenna. Female will have single thread like this. Okay. So the male, in this case, this is a Luna moth or a moon moth. Its job is to locate female by female pheromone, and they are known to locate female from few kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers. Now imagine that with such a impaired vision, they don't have very good vision, so they just rely on the smell. Okay, and one molecule of a pheromone or any smell per million molecule of air, or maybe that ratio they can smell. Okay. So and this here you will see immediately falling anything fallen down, immediately you will get flies. I think you have seen, if you have been on a trail or somewhere, if there is a dog poop or any poop there, you'll see, or any decaying thing, you'll see blue butterflies, blue flies sitting on it. Okay, so they can sense things from almost like nowhere. Okay, now we are going to see all those 5 interactions quite in detail, but fast. Okay, so in mutualism, both the partners are benefited. So these are some of the photos. I used to do a lot of photography earlier, and we have stopped. Okay. So both the partners actually invest a lot of energy, physiological energy, okay, so that other partners are invited, so that I will get benefit. Okay. So here we will see a bee which is hovering around flower. Now, you observe this next time. Whenever a bee is coming to the flower, or a wasp coming to the flower, it will not sit immediately. It will hover around the flower for a while. Okay. Now the reason is, just like your aeroplane lands, there are air strips. There are strips on the flower petal. Okay, which are not visible to human eyes. They are visible only to the bees. I'm sorry, the insect, and they are visible. They are visible to you if you take photograph in ultraviolet. Okay, so what happens is the bee will come near the flower. They will see a blotch, blue, purple blotch. They will come near, but kahan se enter karna hai? They will not. They don't have GPS anyway, so they will just hover around. और कौन से भी petal के आजू बाजू में उनको landmark देखेंगे. Okay, so that will a kind of guiding line for a bee to settle on. I mean, why do the bee settle on the flower? To drink the nectar. Correct? Nectar is a sweet fluid. Now, why do the flowers have nectar? Pollination, correct? Why pollination is required? Sir, probably students should. Okay, so the propagation of genetic diversity or diversity. Okay. Now flowers cannot share their pollens on their own. They do, but they need a courier service in this fashion. So the landing pattern on the flower guides them that my nectary is here. So जैसे भी flower पे बैठेगा, it will go down along that path and it will reach nectary. Now you will see here somewhere Like here, it has gone down. Okay. Here you will see there's a bull ant which is feeding on a flower, on pollens and on nectar. Okay. Actually, यहाँ पे नहीं दिखेगा, but if you see photo close by, that entire ant is dusted with pollens. Okay. Now, ants or bees do not know that I'm dusted with pollens. So the location of the nectary, जहाँ पे nectar होता है, botany वाला है कोई यहाँ पे? Botany? Okay. Nectary जहाँ पे होता है, now next time when you see a flower, I mean zoology people can also see. Next time when you see a flower, try to locate where the nectary is. Nectary मतलब जहाँ पे वो sweet fluid होता है. And that nectary is not open, I mean display. नहीं तो कोई भी आके nectar लेके जाएगा. Okay. Flower का benefit होना चाहिए. So nectary is hidden somewhere, placed somewhere strategically, so that when the courier agent is coming, pollens can be transferred to that agent. Okay. For example, here you will see some kind of fly which is feeding on nectar, pollen. So this fly has already visited some other flower. Now it has come again on this flower to feed, and here you will see that it is getting brushed against the gynoecium, female organ. Okay. Now in this process, whatever pollen she has carried from the other flower, they will be brushed against this, and you know how that germination and all things occur. Okay. In some insects like this crystal beetle, they damage flower. They eat petals. Okay. They move from flower to flower, they damage petals, but in the process they transfer pollens. Okay, which is also good. Flower का purpose है to attract agents. यहाँ पे you see some beetles which is again in close inspection. You see that it is dusted with pollens. Okay, so what do the plant do? Okay, यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा है flowers. Okay, so there are runways for landing. Strategic placement of the nectar, strategic placement of the flower means next time, even in your campus, you go, you observe the flower, just wait there for a while, just see whether any insect is coming or not. Unfortunately, what gardening we do, majority of the plants are exotic. Okay, and many of them do not flower at all. If they have their very small flowers, which do not have nectar, they may be just flowery, bright. That is different thing. But next time when you observe, just observe the flower, uska placement kaise hai. Okay, I think I have photo of it. Some flowers are on the periphery of the plant. Okay, there's a plant called as anjani. Okay, and it doesn't have flower on the end of the branch. They literally come on the branch. So it is a evergreen tree. So all pollinators cannot go inside. So जिसको पता है वही अंदर जाएगा. Okay, so that is what is meant by strategic placement of the flower. Strategic annual and circadian rhythm. Abhi, if you are following, there are plenty of videos coming on Insta and Facebook. A mass flowering has happened in the Western Ghats, and this is the best time because all those ephemeral flowers, they flower now. Okay, like for example, this one, Karvi, which is not flowering every year, every 7 years. There are flowers which flower only in September, October. Okay, so that is what is meant by annual flowering. And all of you know there are some flowers which are in the night time, which are in the daytime. Okay, so that is managed by the plant. Okay, and floral design, which we'll see a little later. Okay, now what do the insects do? Okay, circadian rhythm, मतलब insects have learned if flower कब bloom होने वाला है, accordingly I will manage my daily schedule. Accordingly my population is adjusted. Accordingly they will respond to the floral call and morphology is adjusted. Now here you will see there is a butterfly and look at what is this long one. Yeah, antennae. This is the proboscis. Okay. Now look at the size of the length of the proboscis. I don't know whether you can see, but there is a proboscis over here as well. Okay, there is a proboscis here as well. Now this is the butterfly body. The proboscis is longer than the body. Okay. यहाँ पे भी proboscis है. Now I put this specific photos because, for example, here and here you will see that butterfly is escaping the what should I say? Escaping the pollen load. Butterfly itself is not going into the flower, not carrying pollens, but it is just stealing the nectar. Okay, by the way, butterflies are not very good pollinators. Okay, so this flower has nectar. Uska pollinator bhi hai, but butterfly has taken and stolen the nectar. So the flower is at loss. But there are some flowers where you will see the butterfly goes deep into the flower. Okay, so accordingly, morphology of the insects is adjusted. This is a Darwin moth. Look at the proboscis size. Okay, and this is a flower called as the star of Bethlehem or something. Darwin orchid or some star orchid, some names are there. Okay, now this orchid is found in Madagascar. Okay, and presence of this moth was not seen. I mean, the moth hai kya nahi hai, pata chala, I think somewhere in 1940s, 50s. Okay, the flower was already discovered and it reached Darwin. Darwin was an evolutionary biologist. So, uske desk pe jo flower tha, he commented somewhere that this flower has very unique structure and it will have a very unique pollinator. It was not recorded almost like 70, 80 years. So when people were studying that flower in the night, they found this moth. That's why it is called as the Darwin moth. Okay. Now this kind of mutualism is called as the obligate mutualism. They are married evolutionarily for entire their evolution coming ahead, coming generations. Okay. So if this flower vanishes, this will die. If this dies, no pollination. This is what is called as the obligate mutualism. Okay. So there are different types of pollinators you will get. Okay. 85% of pollinating flowering trees and 75% crops. They rely on pollination. If there is no pollination, you will not get mangoes, no crops, okay? No fruits. Okay. And this is very important. 90% or more are insects. So there are different names given, which I will not go in detail, but just look at how much percentage pollination they do. And you will see why bees are very important. We will not talk only of honeybees, but there are different types of bees which do a lot of pollination, and almost 63% pollination is done by them. Okay? And butterflies, only 4%. Although butterflies are very conspicuous in front of you, bees आजू-बाजू में उड़ते हैं, but we just overlook them. But they are doing major pollination duty or courier service. Okay. Well, let's keep on this. It depends on type of insect. They visit flowers, but no contribution to the pollination. So they are allotrophous. Some are oligotrophous, intermediate, and some are eutrophous, like these. They do visit flower. Okay. Depends on nectary location, size, and whatever. So open. So it is open to all, a generalist. Okay. Then partial. So depends on few species, and there are concealed. So it is visited by specialists, like we have seen Darwin moth. No other insect can come and pollinate that flower. Okay. There is obligate mutualism here. There is a species of acacia on which you will get ants. Now on acacia you will get a lot of thorns. Okay. Now if there are ants on acacia, or for that matter any plant, you will not get other insects landing on it, because ants will definitely going to devour it, kill it. Okay. Now, but why ants will remain on the plant? So acacia has developed a kind of glands where it secretes sweet fluid other than flowers. It is present on the stems and whatever. Okay. So jahan pe wo, there are some openings through which the sweet fluid will come, which ants cannot resist. So ant को वो bribe देते हैं कि आप ये खाओ, लेकिन you pee on plant. Okay. So जैसे ही कोई herbivore attack आएगा, the ants are going to fight for the plant. Okay, unknowingly, because ants are predators. So ant के लिए वो खाना है. But in nutshell, both of them they are getting benefited. Okay, so that is what is called as obligate mutualism. So when you remove ants from the plant, immediately herbivore attack will increase. It's insects. Okay, that will increase and the life of plant is reduced, retarded or whatever. Okay. So there's a flip side. There are predators on the flowers. So immediately as soon as you land on the flower, there's a chance that you will get eaten. Okay. So खाने के लिए कभी-कभी जान भी देते हैं. Okay. So there are non-insect predators like spiders, like here, and there are ants. So which are going to immediately attack on the ants. Okay. So it is like what you see in wildlife as well. So deers and herbivores coming for water and it is attacked. Same thing happens. The thing is, the predators also learn that I'm going to get food here. So that's how they develop their tactics. There's a mantis called as a flower mantis or orchid mantis, which looks exactly like orchid. Okay, so it remains motionless, the bees or butterflies won't notice it, and they will land and they will be killed. Okay, there's an insect called as scale insect here. Okay, like here aphids, scale insect. Now, plant has always an eminent trait by these sap-sucking insects. Okay, if you have hibiscus plant, you might have noticed something like white on this. Also, you get if you have this tulsi plant in cities, you get some black spots. Of course, fungal infection is different, but you'll see aphids on that. Okay, now they suck out juices from plant. Okay, now what happens is that is dangerous to the plant. So ants are there to protect. Okay, but to keep ants at bay, what these white insects do is they bribe the ants. What they do is they have a special gland which secretes honeydew, a chemical which is very sweet, just like nectar, which ants cannot resist. Okay, so ants walking on this plant, they will walk around these insects. Okay, and while walking, they will with their long antennae, they'll just tap the insect. Okay, and insect will know the ant is there, so that insect will release a drop of honeydew, which is done by these ants. अभी ant को bribe दिया, so इसने bribe दिया उसको मैं मारूंगी नहीं. So this is called as the armorous evolution. Okay, another example here is you will find in this campus as well. There are many plants which have toxins in them. Okay, like there's a calotropis plant which we give to Hanuman Maruti. So if you pluck it, there is a white latex coming out which is toxic. Okay, which is really toxic even to some extent to us. So there are insects feeding on this. What they do is they feed on that toxin. Either they digest it or they keep it aside in the fat bodies. Okay, so they remain themselves unharmed. They feed on the toxic plant. Okay, and they themselves become toxic to their predators. Okay, now why this is called an armorous evolution is the plant, let's say calotropis, has developed toxin into it. कि मुझे मत खाओ. Okay, but ant are wiser. They have brains. So if you have that toxin, I have that enzyme which is going to nullify your toxin. Okay, so it's just like what is happening in the world today. If you have nuclear weapon, I have nuclear weapon. That is what is called as armorous evolution. Okay. By the way, this is called as the warning coloration. So it is advertising that don't eat me because I am toxic. Okay, so almost all parts of the plants are eaten by insects, attacked by insects. So here are some names, and plus minus. I will not go in very detail now. Just who is benefited, who is not, something like that. So pollinators means the ones who feed on pollens, fungus, grains. Hydrophagus is on the hardwood. Root feeders, feeding on algae, feeding on nectar, feeding on fruit, feeding on leaves. Okay, but plant भी ऐसे हाथ पैर धरे लेके नहीं बैठे रहते. I think that slide is missing. So basically, plants also develop toxicants. Okay, not only chemical, they have physical means of defense as well. Some plants really have very hard wood. Okay, and like I mean, they harbor other insects which will not, which will save them, something like that. So there are so many, and then some plants, they release chemical which are mimic of the insect pheromone. Okay, so insects may not get attracted or maybe repelled. Okay, plants do that, but insects again being more advanced, they try to evade them. Okay, now this is herbivory. So you might have seen something like this. So we will not go in detail. So herbivory is plant predation, the insects feeding on plant. This is bagworm, what she was talking of. So there is actually a moth, larva, and a lot of junk attached to it. And you see a caterpillar here, which is feeding on flower. Okay, there's a caterpillar feeding on leaf. There's a this grasshopper feeding on pollens. By the way, pollen is also it comes in herbivory. Okay, and this is a weevil. We'll see how long that proboscis is. Now this proboscis, this is like a pipe which doesn't bend like your normal soft pipe. It is very hard. So it is really cumbersome for this insect to walk around with. Okay. Now when this fellow wants to feed, उसके दांत यहाँ से नीचे से बाहर आएंगे. They will feed. They might be attached. I mean, they are there anyway, but they are not projected outside like you see in other beetles. So जब भी खाना खाना होगा, it will come out, खाएंगे, and imagine the power they have because इतना so many kilometers the food has to go inside and reach their pharynx. Okay, but still they have it. Okay, so yeah, so monophagous. I mean, I'll not go in detail of this. Monophagous, oligophagous, polyphagous, and again, what type of damage they do? They are chewers, leaf miners. I think I don't have photo. Do you know leaf miner? Leaf पे कभी-कभी ऐसे सफेद lines you see. Okay, those are actually made by insects which are living between two layers of the leaves. They are feeding on the fleshy part tissue of the leaf. That is what is called as the leaf miners. Okay? Then there are borers which bore into the wood. Then there are sapsuckers and there are gall inducers. You have seen galls on the plant as a foliage, as a plant leaf. So those are actually made by insects to live. Their earlier life stages, they spend their life over there. Okay? Yeah. So this is the site. So the plant does have defenses in this. Okay. So non-nitrogenous chemicals, nitrogenous chemicals, and some elemental weapon. Okay. Now there are plants which feed on insects. Okay. They are very much near. Some of these, I think, this plant you will see in national park as well. Okay. Now this is very unique. Okay. Not all plants do this. Even these plants don't do this on and off. So whenever they require nitrogen, they feed on insects. All of you know insects are nitrogen rich. Okay, so whenever उनको लगता है कि मुझे soil से अच्छा nutrition नहीं मिल रहा है, they will feed on this. Okay, they will kill the insect, but it may not be killed and it may not be absorbed. Okay, so this is for a Drosera. This I forgot the plant, Utricularia or something, and this is a teacher plant. Okay, now if you look into this, there is a green butterfly sitting on this. So this I clicked in Maynard along ago. So this picture was probably of this size, okay, and at the end there's a tendril. You see this tendril. This is actually a climber. An entire maybe from here to there, that entire tree was having this climber on it. And teacher sabhi jagah pe nahi the. Now this is what research is. The picture was at this height. It was not at very top. Okay, so obviously the insects which are low flying, they are attracted there. And insects do fall into this. Inside there is a juice which is going to digest that insect, but it is absorbed whenever plant wants it. Okay, there are beautiful quotes by Wallace, Alfred Russel Wallace, contemporary of Darwin. So he was trekking in Malaysia. So there are beautiful quotes and some pages dedicated to this. Okay. So yeah, that's what I would mention here. They supplement their normal diet by feeding insects. Not always. Okay. Commensalism, everyone knows. Since we are talking from insect point of view, what do the commensalism means here is the insects, they tend to take shelter on the plant. So plant is not रहना तो रह जाओ. If you are damaging me, then we'll see. Otherwise, it's a night's time. रह जाओ, सो जाओ, सुबह चले जाओ. That's it. Okay? But insects do take advantage of it, and I don't know whether you can see, but there are two caterpillars here. So they actually mimic the coloration of the plant. And there are grasshoppers you have seen. There's an insect called the leaf insect, which looks like a leaf. There's a stick insect. Okay, plant is not harmed, not benefited, but other party, that is insect, is benefited. This is what is commensalism. And there are eggs are laid. Now butterfly laying egg on the plant is not commensalism because it is feeding on the plant later on. But this insect is a egg patch of a insect called as the lacewing. Now that insect is a carnivorous, so that is not going to damage plant in any way. So जैसे बच्चे बाहर आएंगे, they will try to feed on their own. So eggs are laid on the plant. So plant is not harmed, but insect is benefited. Okay. So this is what is meant by that. Yeah. So this is leaf mining. Okay. Parasitism everyone knows. So yeah. So this is a ball. This is a gallery made by a caterpillar into the hardwood, and this already we have seen the white insects which feed on plant sap. Okay, so what insects have developed? Specialized body part which have strong mandibles. If you want to like to see caterpillar here, you know how wood hard is. So usko bore karke you have to tunnel into it. You really need very good mandibles. And imagine this size caterpillar, cutting and making holes into a wood, for which we need power tools. Okay, so and on top of that, they have internally enzymes to digest that. Okay, so yeah, so reduce kiting coloration. Matlab insects which are parasitic, they are not colorful. You see bedbug, you see red louse, they are not colorful. There is no need to invest energy, physiological energy. मतलब ये enzyme खाओ, I mean ये plant खाओ, digest करो, give me a color, not required. I'm already getting ready-made food from my host, so why to invest energy? Correct? So there is that. There is more cryptic coloration. Cryptic मतलब छुप के रहना. Okay, camouflaging coloration. Then enzymes to digest special parts like lignin, microbial, hardwood. Then specialized digester. All of you know termites. They have protozoans in their gut. Okay. Then ability to survive in hypoxic condition. Forget this. If you have rice weevil in your rice, हम लोग को डब्बा बंद कर देते हैं. Okay. So imagine that staying in that perpetual darkness. आप दिन में 2 बार वो डब्बा खोलोगे, उसमें से rice, cereal, water निकालोगे, बाद में बंद करोगे. So almost like 23 hours, 23.5, 23.5 घंटा वो darkness में रहेगा. That too with less oxygen. उसमें उनको रह के breed करके they have to increase their life. I mean, amounts. So that hypoxic condition में रहने का ability they have evolved. Okay. Then they can overcome the physical defense of the plant, armored evolution we have seen, and overcome the chemical defense of the plant. Okay. Then this is mimicry. This is a bee orchid which looks like bee, not to us, but to the male bee. So male bee will try to land on this, considering that there is a female bee, but उसको female नहीं मिलेगा उधर. So अभी आए तो nectar है orchid में, so let's feed on it. So it will go to the other again another bee, another orchid. In the process, this orchid will get benefited by getting the agent pollination. Okay? And all these insects, they are found very much in our area. So it's grasshopper, and there are these two butterflies which looks like leaf. Now this butterfly, if you see now, it is coming to your tube light. It might be coming October में ज़्यादा आता है, evening brown, what we call it. So it is very brightly colored now. But if you see this same butterfly in March, it will look like this. So when you are walking along the forest road, ये रोड पे बैठा रहेगा, आपको दिखेगा नहीं, आपके चलने से उड़ जाएगा, and it doesn't have vibrant color. Immediately it will 5 फुट उड़ के it will settle somewhere. और वो किधर सेटल हुआ वो ढूंढने में तकलीफ होता है because it mimics leaf. Okay, so similarly we have oak leaf butterfly and all that. Okay, now this is a grasshopper. It is called as a hooded grasshopper. Can you make out it is grasshopper? दिख रहा है? यहाँ पे eyes है, यहाँ पे antenna है, यहाँ पे front leg है, यहाँ पे middle leg या hind leg है, और जो grasshopper में एक जो leg होता है ना उड़ी मारने का, ये इधर है, folded along his body, and these are the wings. This is the abdomen. Now, to find this in dry season is difficult. To find this in wet season is also difficult because that time, wet season of the water, when it is raining, it is green colored. Okay, so they are mimicking the the plants. Okay, plants also do mimic insect to some extent, and that is what leads to natural selection. So I'm not going in detail. All of you know what natural selection is. Okay, so जिसका मिमिक्री अच्छा होगा वो बचेगा, जो बचेगा वो ब्रीड करेगा. सो स्ट्रॉन्गर जीन्स आर पास, जो मर जाएगा सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट. सो जो मर जाएगा उसका जीन विल बी वाइप्ड आउट फ्रॉम द इकोसिस्टम. ठीक है, सो आई थिंक दिस इज द लास्ट स्लाइड. सो हु इज बेनिफिटेड एंड हु इज नॉट इन एनी एनबीआई? Yeah, so I think this is the last slide for insect. Okay, now all of you know evolutionary history. So I'm not going very detailed. Just look at these two triangles. Look at now this size of this shape corresponds to the diversity. For example, if you see algae and fungi, their diversity has not increased too much. Okay. On the contrary, if you see palms, their diversity has reduced. Palms were more during dinosaur time, but अब इनका number बहुत कम हो गया. Now जैसे फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स का डाइवर्सिटी बढ़ने लगा, इंसेक्ट का डाइवर्सिटी बढ़ने लगा. सो plants somehow understood कि I will develop flowers and I'm getting some courier service. Okay, so it's a mutual relationship. Insect बढ़ गए इसलिए plant बढ़ गए, plant बढ़ रहे इसलिए insect बढ़ गए. Okay, so that's why I have termed this particular PPT as a coevolution. Insect evolution, although they have evolved long ago before flowering plants, they were there before dinosaurs, but still right now their diversity is at the peak, and so do the flowering plants. Okay, just to end my talk, and I mean with a note that of course it is a coevolution, but we are right now into the 6th mass extinction. Okay, for various reasons. You might have studied there were 5 mass extinctions happened during the course of our evolution. Right now, we are facing 6th mass extinction, and I have particularly observed that number of insects coming to the light trap which I put has reduced. If you travel in a car in the forest, there used to be hordes of insects coming to your car on the light. The number has gone down. So there are multiple reasons like pesticides, exotic plants, and so many things. So insect number is reducing, which is an alarming bell for all of us, and that is going to be a trouble in coming next 15 to 20 years. Anyway, so my talk was on insect plant interaction. So I think I will stop. These are the references. If you have any queries, we can discuss. If you don't have, we'll stop. Thank you very much.